What is up, RotoGrinders? 2 hours nonstop NBA DFS conversation starts right now, taking you all the way up the lock. 7 o'clock on the East Coast. Crunch time coming in around 6:15 or so on the East Coast. Beer Makers fan, TJ Zwarych, as well as Chief Mineralogist Kevin Roth. Roth holding it down. Myself, Tim, Tasteful Tides. You got us for an hour 10, hour 15, talking about tonight's, well, depending on where you're shopping. We have a 9-gamer on FanDuel, a 7-gamer on DK. Just getting a note here, by the way. Beer is out. Noto is in. So there you go. We have Notorious in tonight. So there you go. All right. That threw me off there for a second. FanDuel's including the last 2 games in the slate. DK is not. DK cuts their game off at Denver-Houston, which is a spectacular game. Awesome game. 2 best offenses in basketball, top 5 defenses as well, according to defensive metrics. Blazers, Warriors, that's only on FanDuel, as well as OKC and the Jazz. So, 2 potential blowouts on layaway on the FanDuel slate. No teams on the back end of a back-to-back because it's Cup night, and the NBA knows that you don't play as well in the back half of a back-to-back, despite scheduling teams in the back half of a back-to-back. Side note, by the way, Tim, just a complete side note. Maxey played like 45 minutes last night, back half of a back-to-back on the road, 3rd game in 4 nights. He plays 3 more minutes than everybody else in basketball this season, almost 41 minutes per game. Completely outrageous. Part of that inflated by overtime, but still. Oh, also, I think he dropped a 50 burger. Yeah, he dropped 50 last night, a 50 piece for Maxey. But this is DFS. We care about tonight and tonight only. We'll talk about Maxey next time Philadelphia plays. Who are we monitoring as far as body parts, Tim? Who's questionable? Well, kind of a big one is Alex Sarr because number 2 in line, Bagley officially doubtful, so we might be without both bigs there for the Wizards. They're taking on the Raptors. The Raptors are projecting really, really well. I think they're the biggest team total on the board. And, as far as bigs the other side, one of the most popular players will be Jakob Poeltl. Trey Jones and Kobe White are questionable. The game Chicago versus Miami, the 2 fastest teams in basketball in the last 9 games. I think the Bulls are 3rd in pace the entire season. Biggest total we've seen, I think it's the biggest total we've seen all season long. Last I saw, it's 249.5. That is a big boy total. It's high and it's tight. We'll talk about the Heat and the Bulls, I'm sure, a lot later on in the show. Other questionables of notes, midday downgrade for D'Angelo Russell. He had the fish. That team's been ill. Several players have been ill, so maybe that's where he got it from. If he is out, Brandon Williams for sure would see a bump. Jaden McDaniels questionable for Minnesota. I think that's the majority of it because, again, Steven Adams. Steven Adams is questionable and Jabari Smith. Both those guys questionable for Houston, which does matter. Tim?
What about Jared Allen, Darius Garland?
Yeah, I shouldn't have skipped that one. We'll talk about that game. I think Garland's going to be back. I'm pretty sure he's going to be back. Tyson's questionable as well, too. We haven't seen him in a while since his concussion. We'll know that. If we don't know at crunch time, we'll know because that is the only game at 7 o'clock on the East Coast. And spoiler alert, I think I'm not playing that game to get more information. I don't think I need that game. I'm not sure, but we'll see. If we're sitting around waiting for stuff, I might push that game and just hope it doesn't get loose, and hopefully Cleveland just blows out Indiana. They are 14-point favorites. But, yeah, you're right. Jared Allen is questionable. Garland probably back tonight, but we shall see. But I think that's
do you think Allen is truly questionable?
Well, I don't know because this is the same finger he's been dealing with, right? He's just kind of managing it. So I don't.
Yeah.
Right. He's been playing with it on and off. Right. I know he missed it for a couple of days, but I think this is the same one he fractured a couple weeks ago. So he's kind of been playing through it. I'm not sure is officially my answer. I don't really have a good take on it. I don't have a good read on it. They are at an island game for what it's worth. Again, nobody in the front of a back-to-back. There's 5 teams in the front end. That is Dallas, Denver, New Orleans, Washington, and Chicago. Nobody in the back end because, again, it is Cup night. Portland ruled out some guys too, which was weird because nobody really projected amazingly despite the fact they lost, a couple of their studs. Holiday out once again, Sharp out once again. Avdia is going to have to do everything. This is for the FanDuel slate. If they can stick around like Golden State, he probably has a huge number fantasy-wise. But, you got to pay for him, of course, almost $10K. But, Tim, it's Film Friday. Get excited. Today is Film Friday. Get yourself a week free of RG Premium. Tell me what film I am talking about. You can tell me in the YouTube. What's up, YouTube? Hit that like button and subscribe. Turn on those notifications too. We appreciate all that. So you know we go live for all of our shows. Get in the Discord channel, RotoGrinders.com/Discord, the live stream chat channel. That's where you give me the answers. One guess per clue drop. The first clue will be dropping momentarily for today's Film Friday, and it is Gone. Gone is today's first clue in the Discord channel. Let me know what film I'm talking about. Get yourself a week free of RG Premium. By the way, live odds in the chat, and I have inside information, so I can't say anything, but live odds in the chat, plus 195, you get a Roscoe cameo. Now, I saw Roscoe pre-show. I don't know if that counts. I'm not sure if they will pay me out or not. Just take my word for it. Check the tape. But Roscoe is lurking somewhere in the room, right? I think, or maybe not.
Oh, yeah, he's around. He's around.
So would you say it's a sharp bet right now? You're getting almost 2-1 on a Roscoe appearance?
Well, I don't know if this is going to be on Kelshi or not. You know, I don't want to sway markets. So I'm a little bit nervous if this is going to be on a prediction market or not. So
send me a DM if you know.
I really shouldn't say anything. I shouldn't say anything.
I've not ventured there just yet, but I hear it's a lot. You could basically wager on most anything. You probably not if Roscoe the Cat makes an appearance, but most other things.
You never know.
Yeah, maybe it's on there, and if it is, you might get a text from me. Just I might try to get some information out of you. Yeah, how are we feeling about the slate overall before we fully dive in?
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of news that has yet to fall. So I mean, I ran Sims, I ran Oswald's for the show. It's gonna be interesting, but I expect a lot of things to change. I mean, this seems like a pretty typical NBA night. Like the last few shows that I've been on, there hasn't been this much news. So I do expect what we say at 5 o'clock to be quite different than what we say in an hour, just because a lot of things are going to change. But if things stay mostly how it is right now, I do like this slate quite a bit, and I think it's pretty interesting. I like this amount of games as well. This is a good size. I like the round 7 to 9 games. So I do like this slate quite a bit.
Yeah, it's a pretty good number. I assume we'll have time to touch on the FanDuel, the last 2 games for FanDuel. I know when you're on the shows, Tim, we didn't talk about this, but typically when you're on the shows, you make sure to play both sites. Is that what's happening tonight?
It is, yeah. I always make a FanDuel team when I'm on a show. Sometimes I play FanDuel anyway, but I always make it a priority to play both when I'm on a show.
I always try to see kind of like mega values. If anybody's like the kind of the line for me is like 6x. If anybody's projected more than 6x, nobody on FanDuel projected at 6x. Some guys are really close on DK. And if you look at the lineup HQ, all the tags, including myself, Neil, Bobby, Noto is going to be on later. We're all tagging up Jakob Poeltl. He's the best point per dollar play on DK, and you can't play more than one center. Pele Larson for Miami. We already have some Heat players ruled out. Biggest total on the board, fastest pace on the board. And, we're going to be without Wiggins. We're also without Jokic. Tyler Hero, by the way, they're saying Monday. Monday seems like the target date for Hero for Miami. We'll see, but not tonight, but soon enough. But, yeah, those are the guys. Poeltl, Larson. We have Steven Adams projected at 6x. Now, he's cheap enough where 6x doesn't necessarily get you home. It's not going to kill you per se. Jalen Tyson, another guy who you're not necessarily thrilled about, 18 at 3-1, but that could get a little better if we happen to lose Jarrett Allen. We'll keep our eyes on that. But yeah, no mega values though. And again, nobody on FanDuel. Currently our best FanDuel point per dollar play. And again, you only get the roster one center is Steven Adams. So I don't know how he's fine, but I don't know if he gives you 27 points. You really have to make up for that elsewhere. Drew Smith also projecting pretty well for the Heat. I see they're mentioning Shed in chat also for Toronto if you want to bet on the blowout. Another interesting one I think can change things, and we'll talk about it. We kind of teased it there before. If we happen to lose Sarr, if we lose Sarr and Bagley, I think it's going to be Tristan Vukovic season. I think Vukovic season. Yep. He's really handsy. He's not going to play 30 minutes, I don't think, but probably plays 25 plus and starts for Washington. Or if Sarr plays, he can also mop, which is another scenario if this game gets out of hand, which it seems like it very well might. Okay. Anything else you want to say as far as the slate on the whole? or shall we just dive in and do the old game by game deal?
I did want to just talk about Houston really quick, if you don't mind.
Go for it.
Yeah, so like Jabari and Steven Adams are both questionable. So we do have an if-then set up for that. Clint Capella, it looks like he might end up being a really, really good value. Wondering if you had any thoughts about that, Dean. Like, are we going to be clicking on Clint Capella? I mean, in the if-then, it's really, really strong value if both of those guys were to sit.
Well, my first question is, how much has Capella played alongside Şengün? Because I feel like not a lot, but let's see. Maybe they crossed over a little bit this season. They have played 62 minutes together this season. Okay, so it's happened. Interesting. Is he like 3K?
He's 3K on DK. I got to check his FanDuel price.
So officially, I think Steven Adams plays. So I mean, but I don't know that. I don't know that for sure. So that's one reason why I haven't considered it. Capella used to be a lot of fun back in the day for Atlanta, like in the mid 5s to 6s or so. He would really, he would get you home many times. Yeah, that is interesting.
I only brought it up because it is the last game on the DK slate, and sometimes people want to build in 2v2s or 1v1 swaps in their lineup and make sure that you leave a spot open for this smash value guy. And I don't know if Capella is that smash value guy that we necessarily have to save spots for, right? Like that,
I don't think so.
I don't think so either, even though that's a really, really strong DK value. So if both those guys were to sit, and it sounds like you're reading the tea leaves that Adams probably plays, so this doesn't even really matter.
I think he plays important game. I think basically whoever wins. I was looking at the Cup stuff. Everybody in that group: Denver, Houston, the Spurs, the Blazers, and the Warriors. Which, by the way, I think that's a really strong group. There's no terrible teams, right? Every other group is like one terrible team. Denver, Houston, San Antonio, Portland, the Warriors. They're all 1-1, so they're all live. Denver's well ahead right now at point differential, up by 23. So assuming they care about this stuff, and I think the different teams are approaching this things differently, I sort of feel like the teams on the come up are more interested in winning this. Like we saw the Pacers make the finals a couple of years ago, but Houston to me seems like a team like on the come up that like would kind of prioritize this. It's kind of like a stepping stone to, potentially a championship run. That's just my own little narrative. I just feel like Houston would care. And Adams plays through most things. He's a big, tough dude. So I just assume he plays tonight. But if I'm not saving a spot for Capella. I suppose he can give you like a cheap double-double, and he's got to throw in some stocks. But I do like that game a lot, and I'm kind of afraid I'm not going to have enough of it because the players that I like are really expensive. Joker, he's pretty good. Şengün, sure. KD, I like Amen. I think the rotations are going to be really tight. Both teams are dealing with injuries. I think both teams want to win this game. But anyways, let's knock out the first game. I do want to check out the Discord. Did we get any winners? Nobody binked it, right? Today's first clue was gone. It is not Secret Window or $1 Million Baby. Great movie. Armageddon, Good Will Hunting, Interstellar, Lost Boys, Cinderella. It's not Prisoners, another spectacular movie. Or Air or The Accountant, or it's not Gone with the Wind either. Okay, we'll drop a second clue. Let's drop a second clue now. Why not? Let's give it to the people. The second clue is snow. So Gone and Snow are the first two clues. First game. Only game, Tim. Only game at 7 o'clock. It's the Pacers, the Cavs. Feels like a blowout. Cleveland is a 14-point favorite. We do have a couple of injuries that are up in the air right now. I think there's a decent chance we get Garland back. I don't really have a good read on Jared Allen. It's just hard to say. I assume it's just a pain tolerance thing. He's questionable with that finger. Garland's dealing with that toe. Still no Sam. Sam Merrill's out with the hand. We get the T-Max Strus this season. We might get the return of Jalen Tyson, who's been out for a handful of games with his concussion. Indiana, it's the same situations. Nothing's changed for them. Well, Neesmith is out with a knee. Halliburton, obviously. Yeah, Furphy. We're expecting Nembhard, Mathurin, Pascal, Isaiah Jackson, as well as Ben Shepherd. But we know how fickle that's the center's rotation is for the Pacers. Pacers, Cavs. There are some legitimately fine plays in here, Tim, but really, really likely for me. I don't make a ton of lineups, not running 150. I think I'm just punting this game entirely. Do you have any priorities here?
Assuming Allen plays, I don't have any priorities. If Allen were to miss, I really like Mobley's price, 7.9. I'm assuming Mobley would move down to the 5 and take over for Allen. And if that were the case, I really think Evan Mobley would be pretty close to priority play. I mean, this game does have a 240 total. I know that Cleveland is 14-point favorite, so blowout is a concern here. But if Allen were to miss, I think Mobley would be a really strong play. But if Allen plays, which, we're kind of leaning that Allen will be playing, we're leaning that Garland will be playing. So, right now, I'm not really getting to much Cleveland. Jalen Tyson, I think if you're building out like 20 or more teams, maybe might be interesting as like a cheap dart throw. But other than that, no. Indiana, Benedict Mathurin at 6,400. I still think this is a pretty good play.
I agree.
It's not a priority. Probably not somebody I'm getting to in a 3-max build. Especially if we're waiting on news. I can't, it's going to be hard to, take up a roster spot at the 7 p.m. slot. But I think he could be in a 3-max set, and definitely I'd probably match the field in terms right around 50% if I was building out 20 or more lineups. I think Mathurin, as long as Mathurin's under 7K, I mean, this guy, he should have put up over 50 last time. I mean, he's got 50 in him easily. I know Cleveland's not a good matchup, but I think he's got a massive ceiling here at 6,400.
Yeah, I agree with you. A little bit concerned about the potential blowout, but if this game is close, he's easily my favorite player on Indiana, point per dollar. We did see the usage drop last game down to 21%. We saw 42% before that, which was outrageous. But the big thing that we saw is minutes are full, right? He came back, he played 27 minutes, 25 minutes, and 34 last game. So, and they're desperate. One of the worst offenses in basketball. They need him to do things. So I do like Mathurin in this game, but I just don't like the fact it's starting at 7 o'clock. But right. He's my favorite pacer.
If we had all the news, I think you could throw him into a 3-max pretty easily.
Yeah. Would you run it back with somebody on Cleveland? Like, would you force that? Or are you okay with that?
I definitely wouldn't force anything from Cleveland.
Unless players are out. Yeah.
Yeah, unless Allen's out, then I think Mobley is going to be pretty close to it. He's already projecting for 40 fantasy points, and that's with Allen in. So, this is a really good spot if Allen were to sit for Mobley.
Do we have anything else this game, or shall we scoot along?
Nope, scoot.
Wizards, Raptors, which, by the way, they're both in the same bracket, and Cleveland and Toronto might I'm looking at the tiebreaker stuff. Yeah, so Toronto's up 2-0 in their group. I think if they win tonight, I don't know if that's – well, they're a pretty good point differential at 23 points. The Cavs did lose. So, both these teams obviously incentivized to win. Toronto, I'm not sure if they need to just blow out Washington. I was thinking about maybe they keep their guys out there just a little bit longer to extend their point differential. They do have a game on everybody else in their group, and they probably win this one as well. And Toronto also feels like a team that would really want to make some hay in this cup. Biggest team total on the board, 126. Toronto is a 14-point favorite against the horrific Wizards, right? As far as who's in and who's out, we touched on it earlier for Washington, which doesn't seem important, but I think it's pretty important, kind of important. The absence of Bagley, he's not officially out, but he is doubtful. He came in our lives for one game and he got hurt. He's got a hip. And then Alex Sarr, he's questionable. He's got a toe that's giving him issues. And if he doesn't go, do we have an if-then set up for this, Tim? I'm taking a peek. We don't have if-thens for everybody. Yeah, we do. We are projecting, now that's under the assumption that Sarr is out and both big men are out, that Tristan Vukcevic would project for 26 minutes and about 26 fantasy points. And that would be pretty good when you consider his salary, if nothing else, for cash. Also, possibly one of those guys that can start and mop, maybe, depending on. You don't get that very often. And then Toronto, Tim, Quickly, Barrett, Pirtle, they all project well. How do you see Toronto and Washington?
Yeah, I mean, Jakob Poeltl is going to be one of, if not the highest owned players on the entire slate. His $5,600 price tag is way, way, way too cheap. Like absurdly cheap. Like he's definitely. I see Noto, who's going to be on the show later. He already has him as a core play in lineup HQ. Like I really can't argue with that. That he's probably a 3 out of 3 for me in 3 max right now. He's going to be in my single entry team. If you play cash games, he 100%'s got to be in there. Just way too cheap. You're getting to a lot of pieces of this Toronto side. Our current optimal as of, 20 minutes ago had 3 Toronto players in it. So absolutely getting to a ton of the Toronto side of this game. Sims loves this game as well. So, absolutely amazing spot here. Would
you cap it for tournaments? Would you play 3 Toronto in tournaments?
Probably. Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, the thing that's kind of weird is Jakob Poeltl's too cheap, but the rest of them I think are kind of priced appropriately. And if you include Scotty Barnes in there, that's a pretty decent hit to your cap. So, maybe 3 is too many, but I'd probably be making a min 2 here in lineup HQ. Definitely a min 1 because you're gonna want to get exposure here. So. It's probably going to be a min 2 here for me, but I could see you going all the way up to 3. Absolutely love quickly. I think Brandon Ingram is super interesting for GPP. But this entire starting 5, you're going to be getting a ton of exposure here. So Jakob Poeltl definitely in smaller field stuff, definitely in cash games, can extend to quickly in Barnes and Ingram. RJ Barrett's the one that he's still projected really well. I probably have the quote least amount of interest here, but I'm not saying exclude him necessarily. But I think he'd be the one, like in 3 max GPP single entry stuff that I probably will not be clicking on.
Our defense versus archetype matchup tool, we're getting a bigger sample as the season progresses. Number 1 matchup for scoring wings for RJ Barrett. Number 1 matchup for versatile forwards, Scotty Barnes. Number 1 matchup for scoring wings, Brandon Ingram. Shed as well. As a distributor, number 2 matchup, number 4 matchup for quickly combo guards. Poeltl 10th, which I thought was kind of interesting, but you kind of dig in, like what does Poeltl do? Poeltl, he chills in the paint and he gets a bunch of boards and a bunch of putbacks. As far as Washington, they have the 2nd worst defensive rating. They gave up the 3rd most rebounds to opponents, and they gave up the 4th most points in the paint. So that's the positive. And also he's too cheap. And the other part is we've seen the minutes come up. He started the season, he had a back. They brought him along kind of slowly. The minutes were down. He exited a game or 2 as well. And recently he's played 29 minutes in 4 of the last 5 games, at least 29 minutes. He's gotten to the 30s as well. That's the sales pitch, and the price is not fully adjusted. I would also stress better play on DK than FanDuel. FanDuel, you only get 1 center, and the price isn't as good on FanDuel. So I like him more on DK than on FanDuel. And the counterpoint against him for tournaments, like Poeltl, he's not the kind of guy that's going to hit a bunch of threes. He's not an incredible stocks guy for centers. He's got to kind of get there with like a 17-15 game, which he can do. He can definitely do that against Washington. He's just going to be so owned, Tim. And the counterpoint is centers today is loaded. In my estimation, I think center is really, really strong. Of course, Joker, you got to pay for these guys, but Joker is not going to be owned. Şengün is not going to get a bunch of ownership. Bam is not going to get owned. I think his minutes are basically full now. So I think it's really interesting to get away from him in tournaments, which I'm debating. You said 3 of 3, and I'm not going to argue with you, but I also think that very well Poeltl can put up his 34, and that's all well and fine, but he's not somebody that's going to make you or separate you. Is this something you've considered?
Not really on DK.
Okay.
I kind of agree with your argument more on FanDuel where you can just play 1, but on DK where you can play 2, I'm just going to play Jakob Poeltl and then kind of spread out my other center exposure, because I agree with you, center is super strong, but I just think that price tag for Poeltl is just too low. So right now on DraftKings, I am going to stick with my being largely overweight Poeltl. And then, Yeah, but on FanDuel, I kind of do agree with you because Pirtle's price is not quite as good. It's still too cheap, but it's not quite as good on FanDuel. And I think there are other centers that you can play over there.
Yeah. If I'm fading, I'm much more likely to do it on FanDuel. Digging a note, by the way, as far as the Cleveland guys, Garland, Allen, Tyson, all on track to play. So to me, that's just more reason not to mess with that game. I think I'm just Xing it out with everybody available for Cleveland. Everybody that we, obviously Sam Merrill, but that doesn't matter. They have enough guys. You could put Mitchell can drop 50 tonight. Wouldn't surprise me, but for me, I think that solidifies me not playing the guys at 7:00. Just wanted to note that.
Except Mathurin.
Yeah, I mean, I'm probably not playing him, but I'm not discouraging it. And I think he's too cheap. I think Mathurin's a 7K player. The matchup, like you said, not perfect. Okay. Did you power rank the Toronto guys? I know you kind of ran them down. I think your least favorite you said was Barrett. Is that correct?
Least favorite's definitely Barrett. I'm still going to go Pirtle number 1, even with the high ownership. I'm debating Barnes or Quickly as my number 2. They're very, very close in my opinion. I guess it's Barnes on DK. Then I'll go Quickly, Ingram, Barrett.
Yeah, I mean, it's for me, it's just like a lineup construction thing, right? It's just depending on what else you're doing, other pieces, but I like them both. Salary and lineup construction. If whatever you're building, you need a 6-7 point guard, here comes Quickly. If you need an 8-5 power forward, here comes Barnes. But I mean, I don't know who is distinctly better amongst those two. Do we have interest in Sarr if he plays? Because
we absolutely have interest in Sarr if he plays, and he's more expensive on FanDuel, but he's also power forward eligible over there. So we just got it. Sarr's out. Okay, so Bagley's officially out. So it is now Vucevic season. Yeah, it's Vucevic season. That's going to bring down Pirtle's ownership a little bit because
and everybody else.
Yeah, Vucevic's is center only, at least on DK. What is he on FanDuel? I got to check really quick.
And is he?
So he's 3,500 center only on FanDuel, 3,200 center only on DK. So that's gonna alter ownership quite a bit. So Vucevic now is definitely okay. So yeah, he's definitely gonna be the value. And then of course Keyshawn George. I was gonna talk about Keyshawn George anyway. And now Keyshawn George was popping in Sims really hard, and he was already projecting for 35 fantasy points at 6,100, and that's going to go up a little bit now. So I mean, he's like, you're going to be getting to tons of this game. Yeah. So I mean, this is
he's the obvious run back. Vucevic is the clear and obvious run back, and you can play George if you want as well.
Yeah, I mean that's the thing though. I think Vucevic and George are going to be like pretty close to core plays now. I mean Vucevic definitely, but I mean Keyshawn George I think is pretty close to a core play now. Interesting.
Do we have an if then? Like, does his projection change that much? I assume his rates get a boost. George is talking about. Do we have an if for that?
Yeah, we have an if then if Sarr is out, and it looks like Keyshawn George gets a small boost here, and obviously Vucevic as well. CJ McCollum as well. So I would assume that George is going to be popping in optimals.
Let's see. Vucevic on the season is 0.89 fantasy points per minute. That's only in 71 minutes. It was better last year, right? Let me check last year's stuff. I'm for sure. That seems too low. Last year, I think he was a fantasy point per minute guy, and we have a bigger sample as well. Unless I'm misremembering. Also, super handsy is career. 4.7 personal fouls per 36, 5.5 personal fouls per 36 this season. He can get 2 quick ones pretty quickly. Let's see. Last season, Vucevic was 1.22 fantasy points per minute in 508 FanDuel minutes. I'm assuming it's similar on DK. That's 1.22 is strong. I wouldn't necessarily expect that, but he's a fantasy point per minute guy. Let's see. Yeah, 1.22 on DK as well. And if he's getting 24 minutes, it's a simple math problem, Tim.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so he's going to project really, really strongly.
How many players from this game would you play in one team, Dean? 4?
Five?
I don't know.
I'm not going to play 4 Raptors. I could play 3. 3 and Vucevic, and maybe George, like you said. Maybe George, maybe McCollum. I don't think I'm getting the Koulibaly or Middleton or Bub. I do want to see the projected stuff. And again, it's a good night. I think scores can potentially be high. I love the Miami-Chicago game. You're asking that question, and that's a question for the Miami-Chicago game for me, because I'm thinking about playing 4 or 5 guys in that game in my main lineup. That might adjust a little bit. We'll see. But, yeah, I mean, and then you probably can build pretty good lineups just those 2 games. Just ignore everything else.
Yes.
Washington, Toronto, Miami, Chicago. It's a 2-game slate. I mean, you can do that if you want. There's other games, other players who do well for sure. Do you want to check the Discord? I don't think we have a winner just yet. It is not Mystery or Scarface or Wind River. That's a good movie. The Revenant. The Revenant's in that category, Tim, of movies that were good. I never want to see it again. That's a good movie. I have no interest in ever seeing it again. It was good. Well made. Nicely done. But do I need to see it again? No. The third clue is rubber. Dawn, snow, and rubber. That is the first 3 clues. I tightened it up, Tim. I made it a little bit tougher because people were banking it, and rumors were spreading that, word was getting out. The answers are getting leaked. So we're making it a little bit tougher. But it's going to close where you can get this I think you can get this. First 3 clues, gone, snow, and rubber. Anything else as far as Toronto and Washington? Are you thinking about playing 5?
From that game?
Yeah.
It's a debate between 4 or 5. I mean, we'll talk about it. We got to talk about that Miami-Chicago game, which is a fantastic game as well. So it's definitely going to be heavily built into those 2 games, it looks like.
Next game, Brooklyn, Boston, 222.5 is the total. Boston is a 14-point favorite. This is a rematch of something we saw a couple days ago. Cam Thomas, of course, is still out. We haven't seen Haywood Highsmith all season long. Nothing else new for Brooklyn. Boston, they're as healthy as we're going to see them, right? Everybody that's potentially available is available. Brooklyn's the worst defense in basketball. I don't like this game. I'm just hoping that Boston just thrashes them and we don't get optimal games out of White, Brown, Pritchard. You figure one of them is going to get there. I think Simons had a big game off the bench last time this game went down, and I'm pretty sure Jaylen Brown had his minutes sniped. If I recall, I feel like he only played like 10 or 11 minutes or so in the first half. And I don't really, Michael Porter has been awesome because somebody's got to shoot a bunch, and he's the guy stepping up. I guess if you're playing Boston, you can run it back with Porter. But I believe, again, I don't think I'm playing anybody here. I don't think so. But there are good plays. I think the Boston guys are playable.
Yeah, I do think the Boston guys are playable. Right, it's true. Nothing compared to that Washington-Toronto game. Nothing compared to the Miami-Chicago game that we'll talk about. Right, I think getting to one-offs here, a Peyton Pritchard at 6,800, point guard, shooting guard eligible. I think he's a pretty decent play here. Same thing with Derek White. We haven't really seen the big Derek White game outside of the one. He put up close to 50 against the Clippers, but I mean, I do think that those guys are pretty interesting plays tonight, especially now that we're going to get more and more ownership going into that Washington-Toronto game. So I do have some interest in the Pritchard-White combo here, just because Brooklyn is so terrible defensively. So I wouldn't mind getting to a piece of them, but I'm not going to be paying $9K for Jaylen Brown. Queta or Walsh, I really don't have much interest in either. Even though Queta's been pretty good, but Setter's just too strong today. Whether or not you're going the Pirtle chalk or you're going some of these higher end guys, or Vucevic, I think center is too strong to be goofing around with Queta today.
That is my read as well. Opponents' points in the paint, by the way, only Oklahoma City gives up fewer points in the paint. Queta's been very good. Boston, surprising. I thought this season, Boston would get beat up inside. Has not been the case. Cato's been very, very good defensively, so it's a bad read by me coming into the season. Yeah, but you mentioned White. I think I'm 0 for 7 on White this year. I don't think I've got him right once. He always well.
I can't get Peyton Pritchard right. Every time I play him, he puts up like 20, and then I fade him. He's putting up 45 or whatever at 6,500, and it's like I can't get Pritchard right ever.
Checking the Discord channel. Wanted to see if we had any winners on 3. It's not Castaway or The Bourne Legacy. I'll give you this. It's none of the Bourne movies. It's not Superbad or The Thing or Burn After Reading or The Gray or X-Men or Cool Runnings or Fargo or Blow or Misery. It's not Misery. That one scene everybody remembers. I think we should move along. Yes, we're done with Brooklyn, Boston.
Yeah, that's a pretty easy one.
Okay, this is the game, the only 8 o'clock game. New time frame here. Boston, Brooklyn, Washington, Toronto. Those are the only 2 games in the 7:30 window. 8 o'clock, Miami, Chicago. 249.5. That is the total. It's a big boy total. It's high and it's tight because Chicago is just a 2.5 point favorite. Miami is expecting to have 11 players on their roster. They're going to be playing it really, really tight here. The absence of both Andrew Wiggins is going to be out tonight, which is crucial. That's important. And Nikola Jovic also out for Miami. We're guessing it's Powell, Larson, Jaime Jaquez we have jumping in the starting lineup. I don't know if that's for sure, but certainly that's a possibility. If not him, Ware. If not him, Fontecchio. But one of those 3, I would imagine. I guess there's a chance. No, I don't think Drew Smith starts. But they seem to like Drew Smith as well. And, Ware, Fontecchio, Smith will get some run off the bench, but it'll be pretty tight amongst those 8, I imagine. Chicago, I feel pretty strongly that Kobe White's going to play, and this is an amazing Kobe White spot. I'm a little bit concerned about the minutes. He's been awesome so far this year, right? In a small sample, I think he's averaging at 1.5 fantasy points a minute. They've kept him at 30 and 27. Is there a chance he plays 30-plus minutes here? I think. They play tomorrow, so maybe they just play him full tonight and sit him tomorrow. I could see that scenario. But we love, he's an awesome transition player, Kobe White, and we love 3-point shooters versus Miami. No team gives up more 3-point shots than Miami. Like, this is a spot where he can, attempt 10-plus 3-pointers. I'm really interested in him in tournaments. I don't think he projects incredible because the minutes are kind of baked down a little bit. You really can't project. We're not giving him 30, right? I don't think we are. We're giving him 28, but I think there's a chance. I think we got a chance, and I think he can get there in 30 tonight. I really, really want to play Kobe White in tournaments because nobody's doing it. In the game that's the most appealing game, people are going to play Giddy, and I get it. Yeah, and the Miami side's the more popular side if you look at ownership stuff, like pretty clearly. Pelle Larson should play about 30 minutes or so. Jaime Jaquez is projected for 33. He might, he might start, but he's, when he comes off the bench, he basically sticks around. Mitchell's one of those like safe cash game plays. Davion Mitchell still too underpriced. Powell can really get loose here. I like Bam. Certainly Chicago's another team that gives up points in the paint. Bam can also step out and hit a 3 these days. And when he played 29 minutes his first game back, we're projecting 32. So that's pretty full. And this environment is just awesome. I like a lot. If you can't tell, I really like this game, Tim. I didn't mean to just.
You love Kobe White here, don't you?
I do. I think he's an awesome tournament play because he does not project well, but he absolutely can break that projection. Now he might not even play. I'm pretty confident he plays.
Well, yeah. Obviously, we won't roster him if he doesn't play. But I mean, if he does play, and we haven't projected for 28 minutes, we haven't projected for 1% projected ownership right now. I mean, for a 1% play, like say you wanted to, see for me, I don't think I can get there in 3 max. He's close though. He's kind of like Mathurin for me. I mean, the issue is that there are a lot of guys in that same guard pricing territory, quickly, Keyshawn George, Norman Powell, that are all, projecting so much better. I think even some of these Boston guys like Derek White, at 7,500, I don't mind so much either. So Yeah, Kobe White. I mean, but you're right though. It's all about game environment, and this game is going to be really, yeah, it's a really perfect game for him. You're 100% correct about that. So I think that I'm probably not as high on him as you are, but I like the call at 1%. I mean, I really do. He fits in really well with like a little mini game stack list. Like you could build into that Toronto Washington game really easily, and instead of going, Jaime Jaquez, or instead of going Norman Powell as your Miami exposure, you can go to Kobe. You can go to Kobe White here. I think it's a really good pivot off of those chalkier Miami pieces on the other side of this game. So I do like that call a ton.
It's only 57 minutes, but Kobe White this year in his 2 games, 31% usage, 1.52 DK fantasy points per minute, just electric. I'm going to play him at least one lineup. I don't know if I'm going to play him on my main lineup, but I'm going to play him for sure. I don't want to. I feel like I'm going to have some FOMO if he smashes. And again, I love him in this pace against this opponent. And he's also like, if you want, he's one of those guys that will heat check. He'll shoot a 3 like 4 times in a row, 5 times in a row. I think we paid this salary last year. We paid, I think, $8K last year for him when he was full. So, and we didn't get this kind of environment. So I'm talking myself into Kobe White.
We did get a question in chat. Derek, our guy in chat, Derek wants to know, can you rank the Miami players on DK? I think I would go Powell, Jaime Jaquez, Pelly Larson, Davion, Bam. That's probably what I would do. I mean, normally I would love to play Bam here. I think he's going to get pretty squeezed in terms of ownership, but I honestly, I just can't click on that even in 3 max. So Bam I'm out on. I think it's going to be, for me, some of these small forward eligible, shooting guard eligible guys that I'll be most likely clicking on for Miami. I don't think Davion has like an amazing ceiling, but I think he's okay points per dollar play. But it's tough for me. I think Powell is probably my favorite.
I should have said, by the way, it's somewhat relevant talking about Kobe White being questionable. Trey Jones is questionable too, so like that would squeeze it a little bit for. I mean, they have other guys. They have Herter. They have Dosunmu, right? But just of note, and in chat, by the way, I don't know why I'm acknowledging it. B-Sab says, never seen DFS Almanac on top of leaderboards. He's working plenty of shifts.
Definitely not true.
Maybe tonight's the night, Tim. Tonight's the night, Tim. I'm going to break through. I'm going to win my first tournament ever. I think
you just won the $100 single entry like a week ago.
No. That's not. No, we didn't see it. Nobody saw it.
Oh, okay.
You got to see it. If you don't see it, it didn't happen.
Oh, true. Okay.
Tonight, I think tonight might be. We'll see. I mean, maybe I'm due. What did you were very close this weekend for football, right? What did you, the single entry on FanDuel or DK?
Yeah, I got third in the 250 single entry on FanDuel.
Look at that. I mean, nobody called you out and said they never seen you, but
I know.
We've seen you. I've seen it. I can confirm it. All right. Fourth clue. Let's get the people a fourth clue. We have no winner just yet in the Discord channel. Some guesses are coming in. Fourth clue. First 3 are gone, snow, and rubber. The fourth clue is 10. Gone, snow, rubber, 10. That is our first 4 clues in the Discord channel. I have bonus clues if necessary. I don't know if we'll need them. I don't think we will, but we see. We'll see. 4.5 is the over-under. We're going to set that. Get in the Discord channel. Win yourself a week free of RG Premium. Tell me what movie I am talking about. Anything else as far as Miami and Chicago? We really, really like this game, obviously.
Yeah, that's one of the better games on the board. But yeah, I think we're good to move on.
All right, New Orleans and Dallas, 234.5 is the total. There's actually a couple pieces in this game I'm interested in. Dallas is a 5-point favorite. Did mention earlier at the top, we have D'Angelo Russell's questionable with an illness. And like we've seen kind of back and forth, these guys bounce back and forth depending on the game, depending on how well they're doing, depending on game flow. One of Brandon Williams or D'Angelo Russell kind of gets loose and they severely hurt the other player. But if we have Russell out, I think Brandon Williams would project really well in a good matchup here against New Orleans. I did actually DM Kyle, who's on, I think he's on projections tonight, and Williams would project for over 30 minutes. So I do like him if we happen to get the news that Russell is out. I don't know if or when we would get that news. Of course, Anthony Davis is still out. He's got that calf. Cooper Flagg is back. He's good to go with his thumb. And on the other side, as far as New Orleans, Jordan Poole's still out, but everything else is as is. Zion is still available. We saw Queen have a breakout game versus Joker. Apparently, that was his favorite player growing up, which it's weird to say. I guess but like Joker's been in the league for like 9-10 years, right? 9 years, something like that. And Queen's 19-ish, 20. What is he? So yeah, I guess it makes sense that it's not crazy. It sounds weird. Like that's his favorite player, but yeah. And also Joker was really impressed. He's like, he liked the kind of arsenal, and apparently Queen kind of modeled his game after Joker to some extent. But he's another interesting center. Tim, it is not Fargo. Somebody also guessed in the private chat in the Discord that it might be Fargo. I like the fact you're playing along though. It is not Fargo. You still have more guesses. Feel free to fire away. Yeah, I have my eye on Russell possibly being out. I might leave a spot open for that. I'm not sure if it's good enough to leave a spot open for that, but I do like that. Otherwise, your thoughts for New Orleans and Dallas.
Yeah, so definitely waiting on the Russell news here. I do agree with you that Brandon Williams would be a really, really strong play if Russell were to sit. Just reran some optimals here. Not getting to an absolute ton here of this game. The environment of this game is not fantastic. Just like on the whole. But I think there are some pieces that you can play, whether it be a Williams. I do think I got to just double check PJ Washington's price on FanDuel. He tends to be pretty cheap over there. 6,600 for PJ Washington on FanDuel, I think, is a pretty solid price. So I do like him over there. Derek Queen, he still has power forward eligibility for the Pelicans. He's 5'5". Yeah. So power forward eligibility, I absolutely love that. Like if you're a center only, I don't think we could really conceivably click on him, but because he has power forward, I absolutely love him. So Derek Queen, 5'5" on DK. I think he's fantastic. He's 6K on FanDuel, which is pretty good too. He's still got power forward eligibility over there. So I don't mind Queen on both sites. Other than that, though, I don't know if I'm missing something, but I'm really not seeing anything for the Pelicans outside of Queen that I really want to get to here.
Yeah, I feel basically the same way. That's my favorite play on New Orleans. Williams will be my favorite play in Dallas. If you lose D'Lo, Flag I think is fine at 6'9" on DK, but not a priority. Anything else we want to stress, or shall we move along?
We can move along.
Checking out the Discord channel. Anybody get today's movie in the first 4 guesses? I don't think so. 10 Things I Hate About You. It's not that, or Reindeer Games. It's not Gone in 60 Seconds, or Snow Dogs, or The Snowman, or The Captive, or Airplane, or Boogie Nights. Boogie Nights, one of the greatest movies of all time. Okay, we'll give the next clue in just a couple minutes or so. Do want to mention shot quality. If you're playing NBA DFS, still relying on box scores, you're already behind. Shot quality, they gave you the most predictive data in basketball, breaking down every shot to show you what should have gone in, not just what actually did go in the bucket. Right now, you can get a free 3-day trial. Just head to the link there in the description on the YouTube. Hit that like button too, and click that description and get a 3-day free trial. After that, if you want to keep it, if you're keeping it, if you do not opt out, it renews for $39.99 monthly. Should also mention Combo Pro. If you want to get more bang for your buck this Combo Pro season with NFL, well, we're in week 12 now as far as NFL, but for a limited time, NFL a la carte was, I think, $75. You can get your first month of Combo Pro, which includes NFL, basketball, hockey, which Tim's a part of that team, fabulous hockey team, PGA, WNBA, MMA, LOL. It's all on the screen. Go ahead and check out the link in the description. $79.99 for your first month of Combo Pro. You get access to the SimLabs that we're talking about, the projections, the tags, lineup HQ, the optimizer, all the articles, all the bells, all the whistles, everything you can imagine. All right. Let's drop that 5th clue for the people. The 5th clue, Tim, get ready. It is synchronize. Gone, snow, rubber, 10, and synchronize. That is your final clue, or we'll get another clue if necessary. We shall move along to the next game. The next game is Minnesota. Minnesota and Phoenix, 231.5 is the total. Minnesota is about a 4-point favorite here in Phoenix tonight. Jaden McDaniel is officially questionable. Otherwise, nothing else matters. Oh, they stopped putting Dante DiVincenzo on the injury report. Is his mask off now? I'm not sure if it is. They used to put him on there with his mask. Joe Ingles is questionable too. He's got a groin. He wasn't playing anyway. The Suns are still without their wings and Grayson Allen and Jalen Green, so a lot of minutes of boost there to Dylan Brooks, who's been playing well there of late. Big spend. If you want some big spends, there's a couple big spends in this game that, as far as Devin Booker, Anthony Edwards on the other side, and Julius Randle as well. How do we feel about Minnesota Phoenix?
Not really getting to a lot of this game. I saw that there's a couple of questions about Naz Reid here. Can we still play him? I guess so.
He's been great.
It's just, value is so good on this slate. So he's definitely been really strong. I just highly prefer getting to Derek Queen, kind of right around that same price point. So it's kind of tough. Like, you're going to spend $5,900 for Naz Reid when Derek Queen's right there. Like, I know that's what the field's going to do. Naz Reid's not going to be that popular. So, I guess he's okay. I really don't have any other interest here for Minnesota outside of maybe Julius Randle at 8,600. I think that price tag is still pretty reasonable for him. But not getting to much of this game. 231 total is it's pretty low on this slate. Like, you think that's a lot of points, but it really isn't. So this is not a great game environment.
I'm a little bit concerned of not having much of this game. I think this is one of the games that could get loose. Like, Booker could drop 70. Same with Edwards. I'm not saying I'm not playing him, but I don't think I am. I don't think I'm prioritizing it. They both can be the biggest scorer on the slate. Well, Joker exists, so probably not. But yeah, this is one of those games that I hope doesn't really break out, fantasy wise. Because sorry to interrupt you. I was getting to Colin Gillespie on FanDuel at least a little bit earlier. I'm sure there's probably better value at this point. But 5,400 for him, I think, is decent over on the FanDuel side. But I don't know. It's not like a priority play by any means. We're projecting 28 minutes for him. Of course, he's benefiting in the absence of Green as well as Grayson Allen. The price has adjusted. And I think what you said is like the most important thing. Like, better stuff probably is infiltrated. Still playable, right, in the mix, but not really priority stuff. If McDaniel sits, I don't know if there's anything that really matters. We saw Connolly start last game for Minnesota. Do we have an if then? Does anybody really get a big boost? I don't think so.
Randall and Edwards get small bumps, and that's it. We do have an if then for that, and it does not show anyone getting any kind of meaningful bump here.
So we had, just checking out the Discord channel, I thought I saw two people give the same answer. Did I not? Did one of them go away? One of them might have went away. But yeah. Okay. So we do have a winner. This is a return winner. Peterman took it down for today's Film Friday. We'll give the details on that momentarily. I know Steve's already hitting him up for if he wants premium or not. You can get scores and odds as well. We don't really talk about that, but you want scores and odds? Dealer's choice. Anything else you want to say as far as Minnesota and Phoenix? Big Z was right there. Just missed it. I thought, missed it by 0.5 seconds. He says dial-up. Were you still doing dial-up? Is that still a thing?
Dial-up? Do you still have a home phone, Dean?
No. I mean, why?
I don't know. You might live off grid like I do. I still have a home phone.
You have a home phone? I guess if you're off grid, I suppose it's necessary.
Did you see the Vukcevic projection? Do you see the updated projection yet?
I didn't, but can I guess?
Go ahead.
I'm gonna guess 28 minutes and about like 31 fantasy points.
29 fantasy points. Let me look up the minutes. 29 fantasy points, and I just lost my screen. I didn't actually see the minutes yet, but it's 29. It's 29 fantasy points.
Yeah, because they don't really have much behind him as far as size. I mean, they have Anthony Gill. Toronto's going to be running Pirtle and Mamakilashvili, so
It's 28 minutes.
Yeah. I'm trying to think who else would play. Are we giving Gill minutes for Washington? Not that you're playing him, but
11.
we're giving him 11. Yeah. I'm just trying to think. Maybe Koulibaly plays like a small ball 5. Just trying to think who else could play the 5. There's not many other options, I suppose. Like they have a lot of players. Like they still have like 14 players. I'm just counting them. But most of them are small.
Right.
Bob Carrington, Whitmore's a wing, Johnson's a guard, Kispert's a wing, Champagne's a wing, AJ Johnson's a point guard, a shooting guard. Malachi Branham's a shooting guard. I don't know who Will Riley is, but he's a small forward. Couldn't tell you who Will Riley is. But, yeah. And Pirtle obviously is a natural big, and Mamakilashvili's – oh, there it is. Pay it off. Whoever got 190 for a Roscoe appearance. Plus 190 for Roscoe. Pay paper.
There we go. There we go.
Some would say the fix was in, Tim. We knew Roscoe was lurking for sure. Okay. Moving along. Yes.
Move along.
By the way, today's Film Friday, Tim, Gone was the first clue. Gone was a reference to a song in this movie that was a mega hit. It had like 80 million downloads or something like that. It wasn't necessarily called this, but like it was part of the hook for the song. Snow was one of the actresses in the movie, Brittany Snow. Rubber was in reference to the name of the movie, and these are sports fans, so I figure some people would know. The pitcher, a pitcher in baseball, toes the rubber. Pitcher is on the rubber. 10 is in reference to another sporting reference, a score, right? Namely, like gymnastics. When you nail it, Tim, you nail it, you get yourself a perfect 10. Gone was a reference to the Cups song, When I'm Gone. Do you know the Cups song, When I'm Gone? And 5 was Synchronize. This movie was about a cappella group, and they would sing. They would in Synchronicity in a competition, and this is Pitch Perfect. Pitch Perfect? Yes, maybe. Why did I pick Pitch Perfect, Tim? I know you're asking yourself that, and I'm going to tell you. There's 2 reasons. The Cup song, it's Cup night. It's NBA Cup night. And the second reason, Pitch Perfect stars the delightfully charming Anna Kendrick, who's from Maine, just like yourself. So there you go. That's why we went with Pitch Perfect. All right. Do you remember this next time we do a Cup show? Because, it's going to be something Cup related in some way. But, the Cup song was huge like 10 years ago. Okay. Let's move along. Shout out to Peterman who took that down there in the Discord channel. The next game, the last game on the DK slate, we'll have time for the FanDuel stuff as well. Denver, Houston. This is probably the best basketball game to watch, right? 2 best offenses, I believe. Let me confirm that. I think they're the 2 best offenses according to offensive rating. Yeah, Houston 1, Denver 2. And Denver's the 3rd best defense, and Houston's the 6th best defense. Some players could be out that would affect that in some ways. For Denver, where we know for sure Christian Brown's out and Aaron Gordon expected back. As far as Houston, Steven Adams and all his girth, he is questionable with his ankle. Jabari Smith has got a knee. He's questionable. And Notorious, he's got an oblique. So they could be really thin if we happen to lose at least one of Stevens and Smith. And minutes can be really tight here. And they're in their cup bracket. They all have 1 loss. So they're all still alive. We talked about liking Pirtle, him. Right. We love Pirtle. We love the projection for Vucevic. Nobody's playing Joker. Just nobody's playing him. Maybe consider it. I'm not sure if I'm playing it either because I don't make enough lineups. But why? And Şengün too. I shouldn't knock him. Nobody's playing him either because again, Pirtle. I assume Pirtle and Vucevic can be the two most popular centers on this slate. How do you see Denver and Houston?
I think Jokic. We had a projection ownership update at 559. I think Jokic was like 2 or 3% earlier in the day. Now he's 7.
Okay.
And so I mean, I'm not saying that that's super meaningful, but
still the same point. But yeah,
I think because Vucevic opens up so much salary relief now that you could make the case that more people are going to be clicking on Jokic. He's not going to be popular by any means because Pirtle is still there to be super popular. So it's still going to be Vucevic and Jakob Pirtle as your chalky center builds. But I absolutely love Jokic tonight. Like if you elect to fade Pirtle, I think that the guy you should be slotting in that center role is either Jokic or Şengün at 9,700. Like these two centers right here are fantastic for GPP builds. So if you want to get a little bit different here, like say you want to like load up on Scotty Barnes and Emmanuel Quickley, and you're just going to say, I'm just going to fade Pirtle and hope he only goes for like 30 fantasy points, something like that. Like this is where you should be slotting in Şengün or Jokic here. So they're absolutely fine for GPPs. This, like Dean said, this is the best real life game on the entire slate. Outside, so it's kind of like the other like value pieces for Houston that I'm really not sure what to do. Like I just can't see a world where with center being so strong that I'm going to be worrying about Steven Adams. Like, it's just I know points per dollar wise he's pretty strong, but like center is just so strong, and it's already gotten stronger with Vucevic now. So I'm not even going to worry about this Houston news stuff, just because I think that's kind of resolved itself. I think if Jabari Smith misses, could you play Reed Shepherd in GPPs if Jabari sits? Like, do you think that's meaningful enough for him? Like, do you think Reed Shepherd would be the better factor there if Jabari sits?
I think you would get a pretty meaningful run.
Yeah.
We actually have, if Smith and Adams are out, we're giving Shepherd 28 minutes, and he's not that cheap anymore. He's got to make his threes, obviously, but I don't think I'm going there, but I get it. If you're running a bunch of lineups, you want to put him in the mix, but I'd have a hard time. I would try to get like Amen Thompson to go play 40 minutes tonight. Who's just not really going to get played. Did you see what Vucevic's updated ownership is on DK? I see it. Did you see it?
I didn't. I'm sure it's
what would you guess
high.
It is on DK?
30, 40?
53%.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, makes sense.
Yeah.
What's Pirtle? What 30? Is Pirtle like
35?
35.
Yeah,
okay,
and you could play Queen at power forwards. Like if you're playing cash games, you're probably playing those three guys. I'm guessing you're probably playing Vucevic, Queen, and Pirtle. Let me just hit like optimize. You're probably looking at it too. But if you're playing cash games, I'm guessing you are. Are those three likely in your DK cash lineup? I think Vucevic, Queen, and Pirtle, because you can throw Queen at the power forward spot.
Oh, 100%. Yeah, there are certain guys that are popping in the optional right now that I could see not playing. Like Jaime Jaquez is there right now. I mean he's a fantastic play, but I could see a world where you don't play him. I don't see a world where you're not playing Vucevic, Pirtle, and Queen. Like those three guys are like the clear and obvious value pieces, and I don't see a reason why you should get away from them.
We're projecting, and again, this is if like Smith and Adams are out, and they're probably not out, but we are projecting 38 for Ahmed and 37 for Durant.
And Jarrett Allen is out, Dean.
Wait, I thought he was just in.
He's out.
Hokey pokey.
So like right. So well, I think Evan Mobley. He was already projected for 40 fantasy points with Allen in. I think he's 7,900 on DraftKings. I think that's pretty close. Like, I think that's pretty close. I probably would prioritize, but we'll see what the projections say.
You get a rebounding boost for Mobley for sure.
Yeah, I mean, Mobley playing the 5 in the matchup against the Pacers. This is
Jay Huff. And it's the
Jay Huff and Isaiah Jackson.
Yeah.
I would imagine Mobley does quite
JRE,
well here.
Tony Bradley. They had these 4 guys that are all terrible. I am running, let's see, 3.4% usage bump for Mobley when we have Allen off the court this season. And I assume there's got to be a rebounding boost as well. Let's see. Surprisingly, no. We haven't really seen that this year, but I feel like that would be the case over a longer sample. But we haven't really seen a rebounding difference. Let's knock out these last 2 games for FanDuel only. I know we have crunch time coming in about 5-10 minutes, give or take. Noto is knocking on the door. TJ Zwarych, one of the greatest DFS players in all of Saskatchewan teams, Saskatchewan, Canada, as well as Kevin Roth. That is it for the DK slate. They're going to go position by position around the horn. Favorite plays, both FanDuel and DK momentarily. But I did want to touch on Portland and Golden State. Portland, big-time dogs here. 237.5 is the total. About 10-point dogs here at Golden State. Tim, it's a miracle. It's a miracle. All the goal. It's Steph Curry. Turns out he's fine. It was just one game. He was injured. We all know how injured he was. He couldn't play in Miami. But it's a miracle. He's okay now. He's off the injury report. Draymond Green's healthy again. Jimmy Butler feels perfectly fine now that he doesn't play in Miami in a back half of a back-to-back. Everybody's good to go for Golden State. Well, no, Kuminga's out, but whatever. As far as Portland's, Robert Williams, Time Lord's officially questionable. Scoot is out. Drew Holiday is out. Shaedon Sharp is out. All the usage in the world for Denny Avdia. It's an interesting big spend. Also, it feels like a spot where they might get blown out. How do you feel about Portland, Golden State?
Yeah, so Golden State is really important to this FanDuel slate. Steph Curry and Jimmy Butler. This was before the Allen news, but still, Steph Curry and Jimmy Butler are popping a lot, especially Jimmy Butler. So definitely be paying attention and definitely be getting exposure. This is a fantastic matchup against the Trailblazers. So Golden State's a really important team on the FanDuel slate tonight. So mainly Curry and Butler. Getting to some Draymond Green, I'm not going to be playing that. There's some pretty strong value on the slate. I'm not going to bother with him at 5.5, but I mean, I guess you could. I just think that there's better value here, but mainly it's Curry and Butler. And I do prefer Butler over Curry, but it's pretty close. They're both pretty cheap. So definitely be paying attention to that Golden State team when you're building out your exposures to the FanDuel slate, because that team specifically on FanDuel is the separation between FanDuel and DK. It's that Golden State side. We could talk about Portland. There really isn't much to get to. You can always take shots on Denny Avdia. He is now 9,400 on FanDuel. He's small forward, power forward. Again, I think there are better spend up plays on the slate, but he's pretty much the guy now, and he does have 60 fantasy point upside. So you can definitely get to him, but I'm prioritizing the other side of this game.
It does seem weird that Portland's without like multiple key players and they're still not really popping. But I guess prices have adjusted too. I
was getting to some Donovan Clingan at 5,900 earlier, but I can't see a world where I'm going to be doing that now.
It's a lot of guys that decide between as far as center. You got to separate yourself, and big clumsy centers against Golden State seems like a terrible idea. He might get ran off the court. I would not play Clingan.
Makes sense.
That's my thought there. Okay, last game is OKC, the Thunder, taking on Noto's Jazz. 233.5 is the total on the road in Utah. The best team in basketball, the Thunder. They are 16, 17-point favorites here. They have been absolutely spectacular this season, destroying, annihilating everybody as far as the body parts, who's in and who's out for this one. Well, Utah is without Walker Kessler. We knew that. and Oscar Sheboy still hanging out in the G League. We've yet to see Gorgin Yang. Filipowski's available, so they're as available as they're going to be as far as the Jazz. OKC, Wiggins still not playing. He's been out for a bit. Kenrich Williams also out for a bit, and we haven't seen the good Jalen Williams all season long. It doesn't matter. SGA is one of those sneaky plays. It's just not really going to get played, but the matchup, of course, is awesome. And what if he actually gets to play a fourth quarter against Utah? How do you feel about the Thunder and the Jazz? I don't think anything is really projecting well here, unless I'm mistaken.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not going to be spending $11K on him here. I'm not expecting him to get a fourth quarter here either. So really, not somebody that I'm going to be looking to get to. Like I said, there's better premium spends here tonight. I don't see a world. I'm not getting to any of this game outside of some Chet because he still has power forward eligibility 7,400. But even then, that's just a sprinkle. In terms of 3-max stuff that I play, 3-max and single entry, I'm getting none of this game on either side. So it's really just Chet for me in large field. On the other side of this game, it'd really just be maybe Keontae George. But even then, maybe Isaiah Collier. But that's only in like the largest field of stuff. Like really, I'm not getting into any Utah here. They have a 108 implied total, which is pretty awful.
What is is that higher than Brooklyn or lower than Brooklyn? Brooklyn's 104. Okay, so
yeah,
it's better than Brooklyn.
I mean, and you're not getting to really any Brooklyn here today either, outside of MPJ. But I mean, Utah is a pretty easy exclude for me.
I need the player that's going to break the slate. Crunch time is fully assembled before we bring him on, Tim. Be as ambitious as you want to be. Tell me who is the slate breaker.
Who is the slate breaker? I'm gonna go back to the same guy I said Wednesday. He's gonna be even lower owned than he was on Wednesday. I'm gonna go back to Benedict Mathurin.
Yeah, I like him too. I think you stole my guy that night, if I'm not mistaken. I think that's the guy I was going to play. I did play him. That's the guy I was going to hype up. I feel like being ambitious, so I'm going to say Kobe White at like 1% owned.
Yeah, I was hoping you'd say him. I mean, no, he's not. He's going to go completely under owned.
I don't know. I assume he's playing. He may actually start. He may start. I don't know if he will, if he won't. But if he doesn't start, he still probably plays 29 minutes or so here against Miami, and just a ferocious pace. Should be a lot of fun. Those are the two games: Miami, Chicago, and better basketball, Denver, Houston. Those are the two games you want to watch tonight. Okay, let's do it. Let's bring in Roth. Let's bring in TJ. We have Noto as well. Crunch time's fully assembled. Let's do it right now. Roth, as a basketball fan and as a Rockets fan, are you pumped for this one? Are you going to watch Joker versus your Rockets?
Yeah, Joker Şengün. I mean, I feel like even if I wasn't a Rockets fan, this is just a basketball matchup that is going to be awesome, and I'm really excited about it.
Yeah, it should be a good one for sure. The problem is we have a ton of good centers, a lot of good centers. Those guys are really expensive, but yeah, I'd be thrilled to get either one if I can make it work. How's everything else otherwise, Roth? Everything good?
Things are good, man. No complaints. Yeah, happy to be talking this big hoop slate and hanging out with some of my favorite peeps on a Friday night.
Got TJ and Noto as well. We'll just step aside because there's a lot for you guys to talk about. 9 games on FanDuel, 7 on DK. Tim, unless you got anything else for the people?
No, we're good.
All right. Hit that like button, subscribe, turn on notifications. Do not go anywhere. You got 42 minutes of crunch time. 2 of the best in the business. And the best host in the business, Roth. Roth, it is all yours. It's Kevin Roth for Crunch Time right now.
Good stuff, as always. Definitely top 3 hosts. Dean and TJ also. They're in the mix. Welcome to it, ladies and gents. It is indeed Crunch Time. It is 2 of the sharpest minds in the biz. We got Derek Farnsworth, a.k.a. Noto, in the house. What up, Noto?
Hey, what's going on? No offense to Kyle Murray, but I think this is the best looking trio that we could have. So, doing good. Happy Friday. And
zing.
Yeah, excited for this.
Concur. What's up, man? Good to have you here. We did get a little bit of news. Kobe White is out. So already show just started.
Slate breaking play is out.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Well, he said he was going to be low owned. Now he's
swinging a minute.
You're lower owned now.
Lower owned. TJ Zwarych in the house as well. What up, TJ?
Not too much. Doing pretty well. Get to see my guy Noto 2 days in a row with the Tournament Take show tomorrow. And we got this is a really fun slate. So ton of news that we've already gotten, ton of news that we are still waiting on, and a bunch of teams in some really, really great spots. So looking forward to this little slate we got.
Okay. Well, before we get into the slate, we do have some formatting to discuss here because we do have a little bit of a change ongoing here. And this actually coincides with a comment that was already there. Yo Mama says it was a horrible crunch time yesterday. It was exclusively a FanDuel show. It wasn't. But what is noteworthy, or actually, wait, I wasn't even on it. Maybe it was. I don't know. Maybe it was. What is noteworthy is that we are going to switch up the way we're doing things. And of course, we'll listen to any feedback, right? This is your show. It's a free show. We want you to guide what we do. But we've decided we're going to start with DraftKings. And if time gets a little bit tight at the end, we're going to kind of speed up the FanDuel segment a little bit. So that is the little minor switch that we're making to our formatting. If you have any major issues with it, we'll see how that goes. Lippy says, isn't FanDuel the sponsor? FanDuel was the sponsor of this show, which is why we used to start with FanDuel. They don't sponsor it anymore. So it just makes more sense to dive deeper into DraftKings, start off with DraftKings, and then if we get a little tight at the end of the show, we'll still fully run through FanDuel, but we'll just hit it maybe a little bit quicker. So that is the plan. We'll see how that goes. And we'll do our best to just save some time. We want to make sure that you have time for questions as well. TJ, anything you want to add to that? You're a host as well.
No, other than that, just let me know how I sound, because I think my mic was just a little bit off there, but I turned the gain down. I moved it a little closer to my mouth. How we doing?
Yeah, I think it sounds good.
Sounds good.
Yeah, I think.
Early in the show, you included me in that host with you and Dean. I don't think you have to put me on that tier. You guys are the hosting goats. The beautiful thing about my game is I can't quite host as well as you and Dean, but I'm still pretty good at it. Can't produce as well as Steve, but I still know what I'm doing. Can't quite analyst as well as Noto, but just tier below. So not quite in that top tier for any individual thing, but we can cover all the things.
You're like the Pascal Siakam. You can do a little bit of everything.
Love it.
And
that's the way to be. That's the way to be.
Makes you an all-star at the end of the day. Guys, let's dive into it here. We mentioned we're flipping the script just a little bit. We are starting with DraftKings. And in fact, before we even get to site by site, Noto, can you give me a rundown? What's the most important news? What's the most important spot? Just give me kind of a general breakdown.
In terms of what we're waiting for or what's already happened?
Sure. All of the above.
Yeah, so, obviously in the last 15 minutes, Jared Allen ruled out, and then Kobe White ruled out. So definitely going to open things up for Chicago. I already like Josh Giddey, so going to love him even more. That's probably my favorite game on the slate, Miami at Chicago. Massive total, 250-point total in that one. In terms of injuries, we're waiting for D'Angelo Russell. I hope he's out. I like Cooper Flagg. I also would love to play Brandon Williams in this spot at home against New Orleans, so I'll keep my eye on that. So waiting on Trey Jones, Jaden McDaniels, Steven Adams, Jabari Smith. And then for the FanDuel people, Robert Williams is still questionable, but that doesn't really matter that much.
Okay, man, you were locked and loaded with that answer. Well done. You were prepped for it. TJ, I'm going to let you lead us off. DraftKings point guard. I also want to note, let me scroll up. Mr. Irrelevant says, TJ, you are not pretty good at all things. You are awesome at all things. And Joe says, but you're best at being Canadian. Yeah,
I am definitely
you are
the best
great
at being Canadian on the team. Nobody comes close in that regard. Appreciate the compliments from everybody. Point guard is it's such a strong position, like it always is. I'm just going through my exposures right now. I don't have my build quite yet. I'm doing a cash game and I'm doing a 150 max build. I want to do just quick shout out to the RotoGrinders projections. I've just started playing cash for NBA. And I've decided I'm taking the brain out of it. And I'm still going to do my tournament stuff like I always do. But I'm just throwing in the RotoGrinders optimal lineup. Maybe one change after lock based on some late swapping stuff. But I'm just throwing the RotoGrinders optimal lineup in. And I have cashed every day except for one in the last 2 weeks. At least doubling up with my cash lineup with using the RotoGrinders optimal lineup. So shout out to that. But
wow, yeah.
Lots of great options at point guard today. I'd say the kind of cash consideration ones, you're looking at Emmanuel Quickly, probably the top option. CJ McCollum, Davion Mitchell, and then if D'Angelo Russell is out, you can throw Brandon Williams into that group as well. But they're not the only good plays. Like Josh Giddey, I think, is the strongest spend up in this spot. Donovan Mitchell, I like a ton now that Jared Allen is out as well. Probably someone I'll play at shooting guard, though, just because of how strong point guard always is. Shooting guard has been less so, although it is pretty darn good tonight. I'm going to be using mostly Donovan Mitchell at the shooting guard spot outside of the point guard spot. If I need a full punt, Drew Smith is my top option. A lot of value in Miami today. He's projecting for 22 minutes. Great point per minute producer, only 3,600. So if I'm going full punt, that's the guy I'd use. But most likely I'm staying in like the Mitchell, Williams, McCollum quickly range.
Okay, very good. Noto, your thoughts there. Point. It seems like there are a lot of options here on DraftKings.
Yeah, real quick. TJ, how old are you?
32.
Okay. Is Kyle older than you?
I don't know. Kyle might be younger than me. We haven't actually brought that up, but it's probably pretty close.
Okay. J3 is just saying he's the older brother that you never knew you needed. So yeah, I didn't know. I was like, wait, is TJ way younger than I thought?
The youngins of the RG squad.
32 is pretty young. I remember when I was the young buck. But okay, point guard.
Roth likes to say I still can't drink yet.
He's a
I thought you could drink when you were like 14 in Canada.
That's true. In Canada, there's no rules. They hand you a Molson when you're born.
They hand you a 6% Molson Canadian beer when you hit high school.
It's good stuff. It's good stuff. Noto, what are you doing at point?
All right. So yeah, I do like Josh Giddey, my favorite spend up for sure. TJ mentioned quickly being a really good cash game option. I agree with that. CJ McCollum does see a pretty big usage boost with Sarr off the floor. I think he's a guy that I never get right, and this is a pretty big spread. He's probably the first guy that's going to hit the bench if this game does turn into a blowout. So I'm still torn on what to do with McCollum just because he never treats me well. In terms of other guys, I like Davion Mitchell quite a bit. Really high floor, gives you access to that fast-paced game in Chicago. We talked about Brandon Williams. I think that could be a really big piece of news, and we probably won't get it until after lock. So if D'Angelo Russell ends up being out, I'd love Brandon Williams in this spot. And then there were a couple other guys I wanted to mention. Can't seem to find them in the projections. So, yeah, I mean, that's probably what I'm going to stick with. I like Davion Mitchell, quickly, Giddey, McCollum, and then Brandon Williams if Russell ends up being out.
All right, let's go to shooting guard, Noto.
Yeah, a lot of the same names, although we do have Jaime Jaquez. I think he's going to draw the start tonight with Andrew Wiggins out. He's been awesome on a per-minute basis all season. If you look at his game log, the guy's just been incredible all year, 45-plus in 5 of his last 10 games. Great matchup against Chicago. So he's my favorite. I have him tagged as a core play. You can play him either here or a small forward. Keyshawn George, 6,100, a guy that's been really good recently, 43-plus in 3 straight games. Washington without Sarr, and he sees a pretty big usage boost with him off the floor too. You have the other Miami guard and Norman Powell. He's been playing well recently. I think those 3 are probably your strongest options, but don't mind Donovan Mitchell. He's a guy that has played just as good with Garland active as he has with Garland out. So the fact that Garland's playing doesn't worry me too much. That is the first game of the night, though, so I would be wary about locking in anybody because we are still waiting on some injury news. And then, Mathurin. Somebody brought up Mathurin at the end of the last show. I thought that was a really good point. He absolutely crushed last game. Doesn't seem to be on a minute restriction anymore. Played 34 minutes his last time out. So he's probably my favorite tournament play at shooting guard.
Love that. TJ, your thoughts at shooting guard?
Yeah, touching on Jaquez quick, I would rather play him at small forward just because the shooting guard position I think is a lot stronger than the small forward position today. Really, really like him, but just would bump him over to that next position.
I was mostly also just saying, why is he even a shooting guard? He's just definitely a forward.
That's fair too, especially because it's I'd like to play Norman Powell here. So
yeah,
I'd like to play the actual shooting guard at the shooting guard position.
Right.
Keyshawn George just been coming in absolutely smashing recently. So I'm trying to get both Powell and George and Jaquez in my main lineup today. So that's why I'm playing Jaquez at the small forward, George at shooting guard, Powell at the guard position. Trey Murphy makes for a good pivot off of these guys. We're projecting him near 20% right now. I don't think it's going to come quite that high because I think most people are going to flock to those Washington, Miami, Toronto guys. Brandon Ingram's fine. Drew Smith is still my favorite salary saver here. And then, the Mathurin call as well. Mathurin makes a great pivot off of Keyshawn George at much lower ownership.
Yeah. Okay. How about small forward?
This is where I'm wanting to roll out Jaime Jaquez. I think he's the best play at the position. There are a lot of guys right all at the same range. Jaquez, Washington, Flagg, Barrett, all viable, all very good plays today. I do think Jaquez is my first choice of the group, but if you want to pivot to one of the other ones in tournaments, no problem with that at all whatsoever. If you want to spend up, Jaylen Brown is the guy that I want to go to. Probably going to blow up Brooklyn, but Brooklyn's defense is just so bad. He could not play the third quarter and have 50 fantasy points. And then if I got to go cheaper than that, Pele Larson is like the projection play. He's going to go for a lot of ownership today. He looks really, really good. Other guys in that range, I don't mind as a pivot. If you want to go up, Bilal Coulibaly for Washington. If you want to go down, Simone Fontecchio on Larson's team all the way down at 3,500.
Okay. Noto, your thoughts there at small forward?
TJ came prepped, mentioned all the guys I wanted to talk about. I like the Heat guys. You have Jaquez, Larson, Fontecchio. I think they're all really strong plays. My favorite is Jaquez, and then close second, Cooper Flagg. Been an up and down season. I seem to bring him up every time I'm on the show, talk you into him, Roth, and then he ends up playing bad for you. But not tonight. Great matchup at home. 42 plus in 3 of his last 5. D'Angelo Russell could be out. So I really like him at 6.9K. Prefer him over Washington. Washington just doesn't have much of a ceiling. He's been fine from a floor perspective, but I think he's had one game over 40 fantasy points all season. So he's a guy that's going to project well, but not necessarily going to be needed for tournaments. And then, yeah, that's pretty much it for me. But yeah, my flag plant of the night is going to be Cooper Flagg.
Oh, wow. I like what you did there. And can I like talk you out of it? Because the amount of times that's been my flag plant and it's gone poorly.
You don't play him and then we'll all be fine.
All right. That works.
For everyone.
Yeah. Noto, power forward. What are we doing there? I see Queen at the top. And if I'm not mistaken, he freaking smashed last game.
That he did. 54, I think, against Denver. So that's a tough matchup too. He's been playing really well. 5,500. The prices.
Have you guys watched him play?
Yeah. Well, I've just seen the highlights. It's awesome.
He looks like a robot.
Fun. Yeah.
He looks like they just like put a robot in the NBA because he's like.
Yeah.
Like it's all so mechanical, but like he's really good.
Yeah, but the footwork is there. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's maybe.
I don't mean it in the bad way. It just like looks really rigid, but he's beating people with it.
Yeah.
Yeah, like one of those Boston Dynamics robots.
Yeah, exactly.
Shooting basketball. That's funny. So yeah, projections wise, they love Evan Mobley and Scotty Barnes. I think if you're playing a few Raptors, you want to play a few Washington guys, and then I think I'm going to make one lineup where I kind of stack that game, and then one lineup where I play the blowout angle and don't play anybody other than Vukcevic, which we'll get to. So I like Barnes, but I probably prefer him in a game stack rather than as a standalone play. Evan Mobley just does a little bit of everything now that Jared Allen's out. I think he's a really strong option. Fontecchio's here at 3.5. This is one of the weaker positions for me. If you want to get like super deep into the weeds, Naz Reid's been playing really well. 40 plus in 3 of his last 4. Probably not going to be on Zion yet. Again, I don't love Washington for tournaments. So probably Queen, Mobley, and Barnes the way to go here.
Okay, TJ, power forward.
Queen is definitely the number one guy here. Agreed, 100%. Like in terms of the Mobley and Barnes stuff, it's kind of just one of those things I look at. If I'm picking between one or the other straight up, I would go Scotty Barnes. But for that $600, if it allows me to upgrade anywhere else, absolutely go to Evan Mobley. I think Zion is a fine pivot off of those guys, but my preference would be, where do you go? Julius Randle. Julius Randle would be my next favorite spend up here. So if you're not playing a Scotty Barnes, you're not playing an Evan Mobley. Obviously, you can play these guys with them, but my favorite pivot from those guys is Julius Randle. And then I really like the Naz Reid call as well. Nothing left to really add here. I got Derek Queen is my highest owned player, and then I'm getting to a ton of Barnes and Mobley and Randle. So basically same thing here.
Okay, so I was very close to clicking Zion. And do you think that 29 minutes that we have projected and that he played last game, does that have room up, or did they say like there's a cap at 30? Like, could he get 32, 33? Because if so, I want that.
I don't think we know. So makes it tournament viable to hope for that.
Maybe. Yeah. Okay. Might play him. Okay, very good. Let's go to center, TJ. What are we doing with the big man?
Walk button on Tristan Vukcevic, because he is ridiculously cheap and he is going to play the minutes. So I'm playing just an absolute ton of him today. He's going to be 65% owned, we're projecting right now. And so I think you basically do something here where you do a double spend up. You play yourself some Şengün and Jokic. You figure out a way to make it work. Or you just hit the lock button and move on because it's such a strong position. Jakob Poeltl looks really well. Looks really good as well. That's kind of the thing I'm trying to figure out right now. Do I want to play Jakob Poeltl in my utility spot for cash, or do I want to try and wait for Brandon Williams? That's the tough thing I'm trying to go back and forth between right now. But I have a super tight center pool. It's Vukcevic, Poeltl, Şengün, Jokic, and then I have 3% Khalil Ware.
Okay. Noto, what are you doing at center?
Yeah, I'm kind of on the same page as TJ, locking in Vukcevic. And then my utility spot, I want to play Poeltl, but I don't know if we'll get the news on D'Angelo Russell. So I prefer Williams if he ends up, being the guy there. So yeah, kind of a tough choice. I was just looking to see what a Jokic lineups looks like. And I mean, it's pretty nice. You get a couple of the values from Washington, and then you get Drew Smith, Pelle Larson, with Mobley and Quickly. I kind of like that lineup. So I wasn't on Jokic earlier in the day, but now that we have a bunch of value opening up, I do think he is much more viable. He's had a really good track record against Houston too, 74 plus fantasy points in 3 of his last 5. So he's a guy I like to look to in tournaments, and that's pretty much it. I just think one of those 3 is probably, or 2 of those 3 is probably the way to go tonight.
Yeah. Okay. Before we kick it over to FanDuel, and we're doing good time-wise here, I want to make sure that you're getting the best value that we got for you, and that's with Combo Pro. Get more bang for your buck for a limited time. Get your first month of Combo Pro for $79.99. It's only $5 more than an NFL DFS monthly subscription, and you get all of the other things that come along with it. It is elite value when you're talking NFL, NBA, college football, PGA, MMA, and more. So make sure you're signing up for that. Also, shot quality. If you're playing NBA DFS and you're just box score watching, or you're just clicking on the player's name in your DraftKings app and seeing what he did, you're already behind. Shot quality gives you predictive data, breaks down every shot to show you, is he shooting high quality shots? Maybe he missed a bunch of shots this game. Well, that's probably going to go in next game if they're high quality shots. And right now you can get a 3-day trial just by heading to the link in the show description. After that, it renews monthly for $39.99. So make sure you are taking advantage of that as well. The people saying they love the way that I say $79.99 just makes me lean into it even more every time. And I want you guys to know I appreciate the comments. Let's kick it to FanDuel.
So nice today, and I love it. This is let's stay this way forever.
Yeah, this is glorious. Yeah, I think we've got time just to go through FanDuel normally here. Everybody can talk what they want at various spots. Noto, why don't you lead us off at point?
Yeah, one other thing, I do like Steven Adams on DraftKings. Wanted to mention that if he ends up being active, 10 minutes and versus Jokic, I think he could see some extra run.
Yeah, he's always got that kind of 10 and 10 double.
Yeah,
upside. Yeah. All right.
Okay, FanDuel, Josh Giddey kind of leads the way for me, 9.3K. Again, no Kobe White. Great matchup against Miami. I think that's going to be the fastest paced game on the slate. Miami's number 1. I think Chicago's number 3 in pace so far this season. So I like that. Quickly is the safe cash game option. You also have the late games on the FanDuel slate. So Stephen Curry is viable here. Good matchup against Portland. That game does have some blowout potential, but I mean, Curry's kind of been on fire. 58, 64, 65 in 3 of his last 4
and he's
games.
Streaky like that. When he gets hot, sure. He's a guy you want to keep plugging in.
And in between those outings, 18 and 14, which you usually never see from Curry. But
yikes.
Yeah, other guys, I think SGA is interesting. If you think the Jazz can put up any fight, which I don't, being a Jazz fan, but if you do, I think SGA could be interesting at 15% ownership. I like Cooper Flag once again, so he's a little more expensive on FanDuel, but I think that will help keep the ownership down. You have Davion Mitchell, Brandon Williams, who we talked about. There's a lot of good plays here, so I probably would try not to lock in too many point guard spots early if you can.
Yeah, and to be clear on Brandon Williams, this is only playable if Russell is out.
I mean, he has played 30 minutes in 3 of his last 6, so he has the potential to see the 30 plus, but I definitely prefer him if Russell's out. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
It's one of those
TJ?
things where it's like he's viable for tournaments, but he's like cash viable and borderline core play if Russell's out.
I got you. All right, TJ, what are you doing at point other than waiting for Brandon Williams news?
Yeah, that is pretty big with it. There's really not a ton of differences between DraftKings and FanDuel today from a pricing perspective. Like these guys are priced really, really closely to what their DraftKings variations are. The only difference is those 2 extra games on the slate at the end. And so you could get to like a Steph Curry here, but it's really a lot of the same names that we mentioned over on DraftKings. Emmanuel Quickly, CJ McCollum, Donovan Mitchell, Davion Mitchell, Colin Gillespie is a little bit cheaper over here. And then obviously Brandon Williams if we get him.
Yeah. All right. How about shooting guard?
Shooting guard position. Hold on. I did want to just double check one thing quick before we moved over. Want to make sure I'm not missing no, because none of the Portland players have any point guard eligibility. So we are all good. They got all their guards out. So I just wanted to make sure I didn't miss anybody there. Shooting guard, if you need to go cheap, you got a guy like Drew Smith, Pelly Larson, and then you can go over to some of those Portland options like a Caleb Love here at the shooting guard position at only 4,200. Derek White is sure if you want to play him in cash, but I would probably want to avoid him in tournaments just because he has put up an almost 50-point game recently, but historically not a huge ceiling for Derek White. So with the 30-ish% ownership, I would probably want to make the pivot. I personally like Norman Powell better than him if I'm choosing between one of them. Dylan Brooks is viable over here where he's pretty cheap, but I just think you can get better options. And then Jaylen Brown has a really nice draft FanDuel price.
Yeah. All right. Noto, your thoughts there at shooting guard. By the way, shout out to Ricky Rose. He says, hey, what's up, fellas? Did we go over DraftKings yet? I'm late. You missed the announcement. From now on, unless we get major pushback, we're going to start the show with DraftKings and then work our way into FanDuel. And we have our own reasons for that. But so you did indeed miss DraftKings. Sorry about that, Ricky Rose. Noto?
Yeah, again, I'm playing the Toronto and Washington guys all in the same lineups. Like I think that game has some blowout potential. So I'm going to be fading in one lineup, stacking in another. So guys like Quickly, Barrett, McCollum, I think they all should be paired together in hopes that game stays close and shoots out. Josh Giddey eligible here too, which I kind of like. In terms of large field stuff, yeah, Drew Smith at 38 is interesting. Cooper Flag, once again, one of my favorite plays on the slate. Not really a whole lot of different options than what we've already covered.
Yeah. All right. Small forward.
Yeah, give me Jaquez once again, 6.8, a little bit cheaper on FanDuel than he is on DraftKings. You have the Golden State game here as well. So Jimmy Butler, his usage rate's been climbing up. So over the last 4 games, 28, 25, 22, and 24% usage. He had a lot of games in the teens before that. So it's good to see him get more involved offensively. You have Scotty Barnes here. Denny Avdia with Shaden Sharp and Drew Holiday both out is certainly interesting. Keyshawn George, another great option for that Washington-Toronto stack that I keep talking about. And then I might even notice Cooper Flag's got the triple positional eligibility, which is kind of fun. But yeah, that's it for me at small forward.
Okay. TJ, your thoughts at small forward?
Jaquez, the number one guy here, for sure. Put him in cash games. Going to be incredibly highly owned, though. Norman Powell, Keyshawn George, you can both get here as well. Keyshawn George is probably my favorite tournament option of this group because he is only 6,400, cheaper than Jaquez, cheaper than PJ Washington, cheaper than Norman Powell, and I think he's got the same upside as those guys, and he's actually coming in lower owned. So really like him in this spot. Denny Avdia is going to get all the usage for Portland today. Don't mind him. Noto already mentioned Cooper Flag. I think the only other guy I would want to throw into the pool would be Trey Murphy. I think he is viable for tournaments.
Okay, let's go to power forward, TJ.
Jimmy Butler projecting really well. I think he is a cash game viable, not somebody I typically hate missing in tournaments. Now he has been playing incredible lately. 250-point games in his 250-point fantasy games in his last 4. I just typically am not a Jimmy Butler fan. Take that for what it is. He's a great play. I just wouldn't be going there outside of cash. Personally, I like Scotty Barnes better. I like Evan Mobley better. And I like Denny Avdia better. I might even like Zion. So personally, I would be getting off of that Jimmy Butler chalk. Derek Queen is 6K, totally viable, but a little bit better over there on FanDuel, on DraftKings. And who are these cheap guys that I would be wanting to bring up before moving on? Because I feel like almost everybody I'm talking about is a spend up. You can play Kaishan George over here, but honestly, this isn't a spot that I think I'd be going cheap because it's a much stronger position on FanDuel than DraftKings.
Yeah. Okay. Noto, your thoughts of power forward, please.
Yeah, I like Evan Mobley quite a bit. I was just looking at his splits with and without Jared Allen. He averages 40 fantasy points with Allen, 45 fantasy points without him. About what you would expect. It's not a huge boost, but certainly a notable one. Pretty good matchup against Indiana as well. I like Avdia. Yeah, like TJ mentioned, Butler's a good cash game option. I think he's got the high floor, but some of these other guys have higher ceilings. If you do want to get a little bit different in tournaments, I think Derek Queen's a great way to do it over on FanDuel. Not really on Bam Adebayo. Again, I think PJ Washington's better for cash games, but you might need that upside tonight. So I don't think I'm going to play any PJ Washington. That'll do it for power forward for me.
All right, let's go to center, Noto.
All right. Once again, there's one guy. And since we don't have, 2 center spots on FanDuel, I'm locking in Vukcevic and going from there.
Dang. I mean, I'm intrigued. If you're making, let's say you're making 5 lineups, Noto.
Yeah.
Would you have 5 Vukcevic or would you sprinkle in a little Pirtle? Anybody else?
I have 2 lineups, so I have both Vukcevic. But if I had 5, I would maybe sprinkle in 1 without him. Maybe go Vucevic or Pirtle. But man, it's hard for me to see him failing in this spot.
Yeah. TJ, what are you doing? You're muted, homie.
My bad. If I had 150, I'd probably have like 5 Pearl teams, 5 Jokic teams, 5 Şengün teams, and the other 135 would be Vukcevic.
Yeah.
He's a min-price guy who's going to play 30 minutes.
Yeah. Period.
It's that simple. He could be trash. He could be terrible. Right. It really doesn't matter.
Still get you there. Okay. Very good. With that, we have oodles and oodles of time for questions. We still have 13, 14 minutes, which is great. That's what we like to see. So let's open it up. Of course,
I think we're about to get the D'Angelo Russell news because D'Angelo Russell ruled out.
Yes.
Ooh, I was just gonna say you can put Derek Queen in there for now, and then switch or put Brandon Williams in there and switch to Derek Queen. But now we don't have to. So
okay. But I honestly don't know if I want Pirtle or Williams because even though I think it's Williams. Projections still have Pirtle more, even with D'Angelo Russell out. And so I kind of feel like from a cash standpoint, it's Pirtle's still the guy, but I want to go Williams.
I'm confused as to why you can't play both. Like these are both top tier people who you want to play, and you're acting as if you can only choose one. What am I missing?
I am also playing Emmanuel Quickly, Keontae George, Donovan Mitchell at the guard spots. And so
one of them's got to go.
You just run out of places.
But one of them's got to go. I mean, if you feel that
they're great plays too.
Are they this good? Are they Brandon Williams good? Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
We just got the news earlier.
I'm just checking you. Sometimes you gotta rebalance your portfolio a little bit. While the questions come in, this has left me with one position left. It is the forward spot, and I have $5,800 on DraftKings to do it. And I am allowing you, wise gentlemen, to finish up my lineup. 5,800 in the forward spot. Who do you like? And can I play Jaden McDaniels?
This DraftKings?
Yeah.
Well, it's Queen.
Yeah. I already have Queen.
Oh.
Okay.
Yeah, I made it harder.
The forward spot. Fix something else. Adjust.
No.
Get Hawkheads or Pelly Larson.
Yeah, I got Hawkheads. I got Hawkheads.
Yeah. Is Hawkins in a guard or a forward spot in your lineup?
It's a good question. Small forward. Yeah.
I would switch something up.
Where's Larson then?
Where's what?
Didn't you say you already have Larson too?
No.
Oh.
No. All right.
You can get Larson or go up the flag. Downgrade elsewhere.
All right. We'll figure it out. You guys were no help. Let's go to the Discord where the cool kids hang out. Ask
that lineup. We're a lot of help.
Yeah, we stopped you from playing Jaden McDaniel.
That's true. Noto, DKGPP, Peyton, Watson, or Ayo?
Not really on either guy. Peyton did have the big game the other night. I don't know. Not really on either of them.
Yeah. Okay. DK Cash question for you, TJ. Good sir. Oh, sorry. DK GPP still. Herb Jones or Bay?
No. Like I'm playing 150 lineups. Neither of those guys are even in my pool. Jones, I guess, but no.
Yeah. All right. DK Cash, TJ. D Book or Donnie Mitch? You said you've got some Mitch, right?
Mitchell, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, Donovan Booker is going to be way lower owned. So if this is a large field tournament lineup, you got a pretty chalky lineup. So I mean, Devin Booker is going to be way lower owned.
Thank you.
That's good. Thank you for giving me the face because I was like, what? I didn't screw that up. And then I
Just
realized
twitched a
after
little.
the fact, Booker is going to be way lower owned. And both of them have very similar ceilings. So Mitchell is far more likely to reach that. But if you have a pretty chalky lineup, there's nothing wrong with the pivot to Booker.
Yeah. Okay. DK Cash question for you, Noto. Kaishan George and Booker or Quickly and Donovan Mitchell?
Probably Quickly and Mitchell.
Yeah. All right. Jim says, Noto, I've got 5,800 left. I have Gillespie, McCollum, Herter, or Brandon Williams. Which one? Thank you.
Brandon Williams.
Yeah.
Sorry, just saw Jalen Tyson starting. Last time I played him, he had like 6 fantasy points. But since then, 32, 34, 26, 27, 21, 40, 31. Can we play this guy at 31?
Yeah, because Dean Wade was projecting really well, and it was Dean Wade when he was the one expected to get the minutes. So flop that to Tyson. He's projected for 24 minutes now. He actually looks really good.
Interesting. Do we feel confident about these minutes? Is this? It looks like his first game back from injury, maybe? Am I looking at the wrong dude?
Yeah, it is. 11 days since his injury.
So are we worried about him getting his
3,100?
So I'm seeing that there is a minutes restriction.
Yeah, we haven't. He's going to have it likely be held under 30, which we haven't predicted for 24. So, and he's still rating out well.
He's 3-1.
Unless he's limited to under 20, we don't really care.
Right. I mean, 3-1.
Because he was viable when we were projecting him for 18 minutes.
Yeah. Well, let's talk about that real quick. TJ, are you getting him in lineups? Or are you changing some things?
Yes, I am. I adjusted the projection for Brandon Williams so I can get to a little bit more of him in tournaments. And then I adjusted things for Jalen Tyson as well. As soon as I get that tournament build in, I will swap back to my cash lineup and see what we can do.
Okay. Well, this news either has me spending up and getting off of Kaishan George or Brandon Williams. Which one's getting booted from my lineup, boys?
Oh, man.
Someone's got to go.
How many guys do you have in the Washington-Toronto game?
2.
Then I'd go Brandon Williams.
Okay. Peace, homie. What do we got in that? Oh, I can do some Amon Thompson. Okay, that was fun. That made my lineup a lot much more different and unique. I liked it. Okay, more questions. Let's get back to it. It's not all about my lineups. I need to remind myself of that sometimes.
Ooh, I should probably adjust this actually and make sure, as I'm talking about my lineups now, I'm also going to be adjusting this to make sure I get more Nikola Jokic in tournaments now because there's another super cheap value.
Oh, yeah, that's a good note. Let's see. DK single entry Noto. Tyson or pay up for Larson?
Ooh, I like both. So whatever the other piece is would probably be the difference maker for me because it's $1,000 difference.
Yeah.
Certainly don't leave the salary on the table for Tyson. Yeah. Definitely go Larson. But if you're upgrading somewhere else, beautiful.
J3 says TJ looks rattled. You're rattled with the news. No, you're
this is I love this stuff. This is when DFS gets really fun for me. This is the most enjoyable aspect of it.
Yeah, this is when crunch time earns its name. No doubt about that. Jumping up in the YouTube, by the way, I've not begged for likes yet, even though we have rearranged the entire format of the show to help you. And I feel like that alone is worthy of a like. If not, certainly these two very, very wise people helping you build lineups is. So make sure you hit the thumbs up. I'm jumping into those YouTube questions right now. And TJ, Barrett or Flag on DK? Noto, I know you're playing Flag. Where are you, TJ?
Yeah, I think Flag.
Okay. Favorite forward pay up, This is actually really fun for me. He sobbed. Lee says, Noto, your favorite forward pay up in a DK GPP?
Let's see what we got. I'm not spending way up on a lot of forwards today, so I would go Hawkes or Cooper Flag. If that's
A. Dean says, I know that he's only center viable, but Gafford feels insanely good here. No, it's just
He's
on a
still
lot
not
of
going to
slates.
put them in minutes.
yeah, just
He
comparably.
projects really well for his price. He's viable. I just kind of feel like that projection is also his ceiling because he doesn't play enough minutes.
Yeah, and the opportunity cost at center with great cheap plays and great spend ups is tough.
And Derek Lively is now actually in. He got ruled out, then in, so no Gafford anymore.
There you go. Okay, very good. Let's see. DK GPP Noto, Mobley or Barnes? Who do you prefer?
I'm using one of each on each lineup, so I'll go. If you have, again, I like the Washington Toronto guys together. So if you have a bunch of them, play Barnes. If you don't, play Mobley.
Okay. TJ, DK GPP, I've got 10K left at point. Giddey, Booker, or Mitchell? Who do you prefer?
Mitchell.
Derek says, is Tyson greater than Drew Smith, TJ?
Raw points, they'll probably be very similar, but that $500 and more importantly, the ability to play him at small forward does a lot.
Yeah. Cubic says, move off quickly. TJ, did you move off quickly?
In cash, that the optimal lineup no longer has quickly, and that is currently what I'm trying to figure out if I want to just run the exact optimal or not. And so quickly is totally fine to move off of to play Brandon Williams.
Okay. Mr. Richard says, Noto, we're going back to some of your favorite plays, I think. Hawkes or Flag in a DK single entry GPP?
Wish you could have both, but Hawkes.
Yeah. FanDuel Cash, Vukcevic or Pirtle? It's Vukcevic is the better play, right, in cash?
It's Vukcevic or both,
yeah.
I think.
Yeah. And on DK, I'm playing both. Like, you could not talk me out of playing both of those guys if you had an hour to try to do it. Like, I'm locking in both of those dudes on DraftKings. Favorite game to stack in a FanDuel single entry, Noto?
Miami, Chicago.
Okay. Pulling back up the Discord, seeing if I missed anything there. TJ Bill says, what is this latest news, please? The latest news was that the Mavs guard is out. Russell is out. And then, so Williams is more viable. And then also, who is it that's starting that we like at 3-1?
Jalen Tyson.
Tyson, thank you. Starting at 3-1, which is pretty tasty. Let's see. TJ, Tyson and Giddey or Larson and Brandon Williams?
Tyson and Giddey or Larson and Brandon Williams? Tyson and Giddey. Pricing doesn't match up at all, but Tyson and Giddey.
Okay. I'm making sure. No, I read it right. Okay. Hardy or Drew Smith, TJ, from C-Dub?
Drew Smith.
Over to you, Noto. Donovan Mitchell or Giddey?
Giddey.
Noto, this is from Instrumental. Tyson Powell or Pele quickly? It's a DK cash question. Tyson Powell or Pele quickly?
Ooh, I mean, I like all four guys. I think the second one's probably a little safer for cash.
All right. We are roughly 2 minutes here until lock. Derek says DK GPP. Noto, George or Powell?
Let's go Powell.
Okay. TJ, coming to you. SGA. There's a name I don't think I've heard all show. Or Brandon Williams is a FanDuel cash question.
Definitely. You don't play SGA in cash. That's tournaments only.
Yeah. Okay. DK GPP TJ. Oh, the question was Powell or Ingram, TJ?
Powell or Ingram? Powell.
Okay.
TJ, are you locking in anyone from the first game other than Mobley?
In cash, I right now have Donovan Mitchell, Tyson, and Mobley.
Is that the game with Mathurin?
Yeah.
I'm playing him. Yeah. Let's see. Scrolling down. Is Tyson a good play on a minutes limit with mostly guards playing for Cleveland? We think the answer is yes, right? And the minutes limit they said was 30.
Yeah.
And he's 3-1 on DraftKings, 3-5 on FanDuel, so he could still he could still get things done. TJ has a great eyebrow to forehead ratio.
Thank you.
I don't know what that means, but you just take that compliment, I think.
Might be the nicest compliment I've ever received.
Yeah. All right. Let's see what else we've got going on. We are just moments until we hit the lock here, seconds even. Jim says a hard time to use Booker or Mitchell. Yeah, I couldn't get to either of them now. Did either of you get to Booker or Mitchell at this point?
Yeah, I have Donovan Mitchell right now.
You do?
I got the Davion.
Yeah. Okay. Well, we've hit the lock. I like my lineup. I like what happened there. Ended up with Amen. Simon says, I need to win the $400 to hire the fire engine. Got to do it, man. It was a hell of a party. I recommend it. For Noto, for TJ, for our wonderful production crew, always working hard behind the scenes. Guys, we appreciate you. We love you. And we will catch you tomorrow. You have been crunched.